a newly drafted
Well,
Senate
that's a
rule
fair.
book that would work for everyone, despite you being in the majority or in the minority. So, Mr. President, I call for the Senate to dismiss this and draft a new one from every member from every party here in this Senate. Take every input from every senator from California all the way to Maine, gather every senator, and let's work on a new Senate rules that benefits everyone, treats everyone the same, equally. And as I stated
How
again,
does this not do that?
despite
Mr.
you being in the majority or you being in the minority.
Mr. President,
So, Mr. President, I would motion that the Senate dismisses the Senate rulebook presented by the gentlewoman from New Hampshire and all of us to work together on a newly drafted one and try to get it done before the end of this week so we
And
can
I,
Mr.
have a
President,
yeah, I
I
newly
know.
object. Mr.
established
President, I
Is
object.
a newly established Senate rulebook to ensure the minority rights in the Senate are protected and ensure that the voices of the American people are represented here in this Senate chamber. So, Mr. President, I motion to dismiss.
Mr. President, I
what
object.
is the objection presented by the gentlewoman from New Hampshire?
Thank you. This just keeps getting even sillier and sillier as it goes on. It's like a reality TV show. I can't stand the drama that we're hearing on the floor tonight. Senator Allen has just made an argument. I hope people were listening. That he wants to protect minority voices. We are the minority voice. Senator Cranfield and I are the majority. Minority. You are the majority. Okay. Uh, we are presenting a bill which has been read out to the Senate. Which, when it was read out, five members of the five. I can't remember if Senator Sethi popped in there or not. So 5 or 6
He
members.
did not.
No.
So 5 members were present. In which that is a majority, and in which Harry Crosby quite clearly is somewhere lurking.
Bennett.
Sorry, Harry Bennett is somewhere lurking around, getting proxy votes in there. So really, we have 6 senators who can vote. Sorry, 7 senators who can vote. Senator Sethi is also a proxy, who I know is privy to this. 7 senators who can vote. Both of those people having access to the document. 7 senators who, at any moment, could offer an amendment, including you. Now, to say that this bill does any of what you just talked about is just false. I'd like you to
I'm
present.
sorry. Are you using your objection to seek recognition on the Senate floor?
That is exactly what Senator Allen just did, and he's. So
That's not
I'm
what I
gonna
did.
continue
I
on.
seek
It's
recognition.
actually kind of the point.
Yeah, it's
What
actually.
is your objection?
I'm objecting. I don't have to.
There,
My
there's no
objection
there's
doesn't
no
have to be
rule
one
defining how
sentence,
long an
Mr.
objection
President.
can be.
Yeah, my objection doesn't have to be one sentence. I'm explaining my objection right now, and thank you for interrupting me. But I'm going to continue on. Senator Allen says that this bill is unequal, that it somehow makes the Senate less democratic. None of that's the case. Some of the only things that I changed in this were pieces of the legislation, such as to confirm an expulsion, 2/3 of elected members have to vote in the affirmative, ensuring that a member couldn't be expelled by a business quorum, which was the case beforehand. A senator could request clarifying the proxy rule votes, clarifying. Um, I'm trying to do this offhand. Clarifying the authority to overturn ruling by the leadership of the Senate, ensuring that the power is within the individual members of the Senate and not the caucuses, which has been one of the big issues with governments across the world. I'm trying to look for the bigger thing that I had done to it, the sort of biggest, and then the motion to suspend, and then clarification to motions to suspend the rules, and complete clarification of how the deliberations and sessions work. We read it out loud. You were there for it. I'm sure you weren't paying attention, but that's okay. You're objecting to it because I wrote it. Everyone can see that. And now we can move to a vote on you trying to dismiss my motion. I will reintroduce it if it passes. And I urge Senator Nixon, Senator Cranfield, and Senator Williams to join me in this effort. We can do the job, make sure the Senate has a rulebook, which it currently does not. We can't wait another week for this. Make sure that the Senate has a rulebook, which it currently does not, and it has the foundation to which senators like Senator Allen could amend and change at any point in time, as was the case last year, last session. And not to mention the fact that this is a miles of improvement over the bill that was in place before, in terms of the clarification and simple language that exists within it, so that people may understand the rules of the Senate, and so that people like Vice President Underwood have a foundation to be able to be an effective chair off of. Really quite sad, Senator Allen. It really is. With that being said, that's my objection. Let's move forward to a vote on dismissing this bill.
We will move forward with a roll call vote. Senator Williams.
No.
Senator Shabin.
Nay.
Senator Allen.
Aye.
Senator Cranfield.
Nay.
Harry votes aye.
Is there confirmation of that?
The message DMs.
The vote count is as follows: 3 nays, 2 ayes. The motion has failed.
Mr. President?
The gentleman from New Hampshire.
Motion to move forward yet again. Sorry, motion to close debate. Can't motion.
Objection.
Motion.
Second.
What is
motion
the
to close
objection presented by the gentleman from Michigan?
Mr. President, I believe it's appropriate to have every senator's inputs to further debate on the Senate rules to amend for wherever they see fit, to allow senators who cannot be able to attend, that we should respect that their absence here
Wait, who's
should be
speaking right
taken
now?
into account.
Mr.
And we
President,
should further acknowledge the fact that we should respect that they represent people
Mr.
that
President,
we
point of
don't
order.
even represent, and that we should.
What is the point of order presented by the gentleman
Yeah,
from
Mr.
Kentucky?
President. So, Senator Allen, whenever you had the motion regarding the president's emergency powers up for vote for unanimous consent last week, is it true that you
Mr.
only left it
President,
open?
how was
Is it true that you only left it open for 30 minutes and then closed it immediately, given the fact that no senators had the opportunity to give their input? Is that true?
well, let's review. Mm-hmm.
Mr. President, point of order while he does this.
What is the point of order presented by the gentleman from New
Just
Hampshire?
as a historical record from your perspective as the chair and a former member of the United States Senate, is it not true that under and during the passage of the Floyd-Taylor Act, 100% attendance of the members was not there.
What was that?
That's probably why there were 7 votes on the damn piece of legislation.
There was not 100% of members there when the Floyd Taylor Act was being voted on. Is that correct?
True. That's correct.
That is correct. From my knowledge, a majority of senators were present.
Mr.
So.
President, follow up on that point of order. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. President, can you point me to one example of the Senate rules passing or a piece of legislation passing in which 100% of members were in attendance?
To the best of my knowledge, I cannot give you an example.
And then, Mr. President, last follow-up. Is it a rule that to pass a resolution, a Senate resolution, which this piece of legislation is, that 100% of members must be in attendance? Is that written?
No, that is not a requirement.
Is it written in the Senate rule book somewhere, or am I missing
To the
Constitution?
best of my knowledge, it is not.
Am I missing somewhere?
I'm starting to think Lucas Underwood's a Republican.
Am I missing somewhere in the Constitution that it says that it's immoral for senators to vote on a piece of legislation if other senators aren't in attendance?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Good. So I think the senator he's had enough reviewing time.
And just for historical record, Mr. President, do you know of any time in which the founding fathers said it was immoral to do such a thing?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Mr. President,
let's go ask George Washington.
Do you know, Mr. President, and just for historical record,
he's an old buddy of mine. I can go ask him.
Do you know of any point in time
I
in
had tea
which
with Thomas
Senator
Jefferson.
Harris missed a vote on the Senate floor?
Can you repeat that question?
Has Senator Harris, the real-life senator, ever missed a Senate vote on the floor?
To the best of my knowledge, it is possible that she has.
She in fact has. And how many votes? And just to be clear, Joe Biden has also missed votes on the floor of the United States Senate.
That's shady. He didn't have to go that low.
Did you say how many votes did she miss?
No, Joe. Just to be clear, Joe Biden has previously missed votes on the floor of the United States Senate.
Yeah, like when his kids died.
Yes.
Not talking about that specific moment. He missed his inauguration. So then it's therefore logical and filled with common sense to assume that never before in the history of the United States Senate has it been a requirement for 100% members to be in attendance for something to happen.
To the best of my knowledge, it is not a requirement to have 100% of all United States senators present to pass a piece of legislation.
Thank you.
You have good knowledge.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was just really confused there. So thank you for the clarification.
Has the senator from Michigan finished up his reviewing of my point of order?
Indeed.
Okay, so can you
Mr.
please inform me?
President.
The gentleman from Michigan.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Point of order.
What is the point of order presented by the gentleman from Kentucky?
I specifically asked if the senator of Michigan could provide me an example as to when.
Mr. President, point of order.
No, you can't point of order. Yep, not how that works. Not how it works, my guy. Nah. Nope.
Is a point of order.
I hope the American people are watching.
A point of
Mr.
order.
Mr. President, the thing is, I don't know if the gentleman is directing a question to you or me at this point, because points of order are to be questioning the Senate procedures, not to be questioning one's member by using points of order. Let's get that out.
You want to
So,
clarify?
Mr. President, I seek.
You want to provide the evidence for that?
What was the point of order presented by the gentleman from Michigan?
That was the point of order, but okay. Mr. President,
point of order. My point of order. How? What the hell?
What was the point of order presented by the gentleman from Kentucky?
Thank you. I asked the senator from Michigan if he could provide me with an example of him closing debate on a motion that was only open for 30 minutes, giving no senators the chance to discuss it.
Lucas PMs.
If the gentleman from Michigan does not answer the question, the point of order will be dismissed in 5 seconds.
That's fine.
I've already 2-1 done.
The point of order presented by the gentleman from Kentucky is dismissed.
Thank you. That more than answers my question.
Wyatt PM.
Cold.
Mr. President, now that we've figured that out, motion to end debate on the rules. Without objection.
Motion to end debate on what?
Second.
Without objection. It is ordered.
Motion to vote
Having
on the
heard
rules.
none.
Motion to vote on the rules.
Second.
You are cutting out like hell. What was that?
Motion to vote on the rules.
Is there a second?
Mr. President, I motion to make Benjamin Bryant the Senate Clerk acting.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
We will do a roll call vote on that. Actually, voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
Mr. President, motion to move forward in a vote.
We will do a roll call vote on the motion that was presented by the gentleman from New Hampshire.
Thank you, Mr. President.
The gentlewoman from New Hampshire.
I'm just motioning to move forward and vote on the
Am I
rules.
calling the roll?
Yes, on the rules.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Okay.
The Senate Clerk may do the roll call vote.
Senator Cranfield.
Aye.
Senator Cranfield, aye. Senator Allen. Senator Shabin.
Aye.
Senator Shabin, aye. Senator Williams.
What's the vote on?
The rules.
Ending debate on the rules.
Ending
No. This
debate
is on the rules.
rules.
This is on the rules. We already voted to end
Oh.
debate.
Okay.
Just point of order. Sorry.
Senator Williams, just to clarify.
Aye.
Senator Williams, aye. Senator Allen. Mr. Chair, those in the affirmative are 3.
President,
Those
I
in
the motion
Mr.
be
Allen.
restated.
What was that?
The motion is on the rules presented by Mr. Shabin.
Mrs.
Shabin. Senator
We're gonna
Allen.
cancel you now.
Mr. President,
The gentleman from Michigan.
Senator, okay.
You can't object. This is a
Um,
vote. Yes or no?
Mr. President,
It's a vote. It's a vote.
Point of order,
Vote,
Mr.
vote,
President.
vote, vote.
Point of order.
What is the
Mr.
point of order
President.
presented by the gentleman from New Hampshire?
It's true that we are currently in voting mode. Therefore,
Yes, we are in quote unquote voting mode.
Senator Allen.
vote.
The Senate
Yes.
Clerk will proceed with reading the vote tallies.
thank
Mr.
you.
Mr.
President,
President.
I vote.
Mr. President, those in the affirmative being 3, those in the
Hold on.
negative
Senator Allen's trying to vote.
being
Senator Allen's trying to vote. Let him vote.
And from
being
Washington.
Hold on.
those
Kenneth.
not
Wait,
voting
wait,
being
hold on.
none.
Kenneth,
The
no one
ayes
can
have
hear you.
it.
Hold on. Point of order, Mr. President. Point of order.
What is the point of order?
Senator Allen, I have many disagreements with, but he should be allowed to vote, especially considering the fact that he is here. I motion to extend the voting period so that Senator Allen can fix his mic that we may hear his vote.
Second.
There is a second with no objections. The motion is ordered.
Objection.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
I
that
will
beautiful
recall
voice.
the roll for
Didn't
clarity.
Didn't even need that.
Okay. The question is on the rules presented by Senator Shabin. Senator Cranfield.
Aye.
Senator Cranfield, aye. Senator Shabin.
Aye.
Senator Shabin, aye. Senator Williams.
Aye.
Senator Williams, aye. Senator Allen.
Nay.
Senator Allen, nay. Mr. President,
Harry
those
votes nay.
in the Senator Bennett.
He votes nay.
Senator Bennett, nay. Those voting in the affirmative being 3, those in the negative being 2. The ayes have it.
Mr. President,
The gentleman from Massachusetts.
can I just clarify 2 points I want to make? First of all, this session has been scheduled since last night. So if you want to have debate on if you want to talk about making a rule book and have everyone contribute to it, maybe if we were all here, we could have had that. Just like that's like a common sense thought that I have, and that is probably common knowledge.
Oh,
And
it's pretty common.
Another thing I want to clarify.
Fucking remote.
During the debate on the Floyd Taylor Act, you, me, and Mr. Bennett, we were telling Senators Richards why they were we were questioning Senator Richards and Senator House on why they were attempting to fail the Floyd Taylor Act just because of one section instead of actually offering amendments. Maybe we could have a little bit more of that with the rule book. We could have had a little more of that with the rule book instead of failing the whole thing and starting all over.
Mr. President.
Mr.
Mr. President.
The gentlewoman from New Hampshire.
I have to thank my good friend from Massachusetts, which Massachusetts is its own conversation, but they have a good senator there. I have to thank him for bringing up such an important historical record that I seem to have forgotten from my argument. Senator Allen is doing exactly the thing that he had. Well, I mean, I brought it up sort of, but he clarified that point even more. Senator Allen is doing exactly what he criticized Senator House for. Senator House resigned as a result of his performance and behavior in the Senate. And what we're seeing from Senator Allen is
Wrong.
the beginning of the behavior from the beginning of similar behavior from the senator from Michigan. Like Senator Williams said, this session has been scheduled since last night. A majority of members were in the call today when me and Senator Williams spoke about the fact that there was a session tonight. To say that any senator wasn't aware of this is just not true. And frankly, waiting another week isn't going to fix this problem any more than it already exists. The problem lies with individual senators, and the Senate shouldn't delay the rule book just because individual senators don't show up to scheduled meetings. That being said, addressing the point of the amendments, the rule book that I just proposed and which was just passed and which is now the rule book was read out loud and in its entirety. I proposed amendments to ensure that its grammatical integrity. You could have done the same if you felt that it was an undemocratic rulebook that squashed the minority voices of the Senate, as he stated. We just know that's not the case. We know that you haven't taken the time to look through it. We know that you didn't clearly listen when it was being read out. If you did, you would have offered amendments, and we would have been able to debate that fact. Pretty simple. I'm glad we have a rulebook now. Let's move on. Mr. President, I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
The gentleman yields. The gentleman from Michigan.
Mr. President, may I remind the gentlewoman that I just clocked out of work and that my job is comes first before this simulation. Because
Here, here.
Point
True.
of order.
last time I checked,
What is the point of order
my
presented by the
job
gentlewoman from New Hampshire?
I just wanted to be clear that I'm not criticizing Senator Allen for having not read it at all, but I am saying that the bill was read out loud and Senator Allen had complete and total time to amend it when the bill was read out loud for a reason. And I'm not criticizing his
mm,
ability to work. I work too. I work 30 hours a week and also have like an internship and a fellowship. Like I understand like time
True.
crunches. That has nothing to do
Very-
with amending the Senate rulebook.
Mr. President, reclaiming my
The
time.
the gentleman from Michigan has the floor.
Mr. President, clearly this Senate rulebook was presented during my shift at work. So when the gentlewoman talks about I had quote unquote
Not clear.
time to
It
propose
was
an
presented
amendment
when you were
just
active.
because they read it out
Anyhow.
loud is simply false. Because simply I had to pay more attention to my customers. And mind you, that my job pays my bills, not this simulation. That I've dedicated my time to my customers. So at the end of the day, I can get a paycheck. And to further talk about it, Mr. President, you know, during my job, I'm also trying to collaborate and connect with this simulation as well, dedicating some time to the sessions that we have and bills to be discussed. And the gentlewoman from New Hampshire just basically said that I'm not trying to criticize the senator for having a job. Simply, you were. You say that I had enough time. You know, I had that time to propose an amendment despite me actually working. And you're over here trying to basically state that you know that you can basically you understand me that you have a job, you work 30 hours. Wow. 30 hours, Mr. President, job 7 days a week. That's number one. Two, on top of that, I have to focus on my schoolings to get my degree. So ain't no way any member here can do the same thing I'm doing at this moment. So, Mr. President, while I'm over here getting lectured by a junior senator from a seat all the way up north, and well, in the Northeast or so, as I believe that's where she's from, Mr. President, no one had thorough time to actually review it themselves because it was just recently proposed to bypass committee to debate it for at least 30 minutes or an hour. And then on top of that, the only two amendments that were proposed were by the senator who just presented. So just by saying that the bill was just read over should be enough for me to present while working and attending my customers when I just clocked out. Mr. President, I hope the gentlewoman gets her facts straight. Because what she's doing right now is spewing just falsehoods, saying that I had enough time to amend the Senate rules. So, Mr. President, let that be noted into the record.
Mr. President,
Does the gentleman yield?
That is correct, Mr. President. I yield the remainder of my time.
The gentlewoman from New Hampshire.
I don't normally get personally offended by things. I'm a pretty thick-skinned person. I mean, I get passionate about things, but
That means he has a fat ass.
very rarely do I get
Please strike that.
very rarely do I get personally offended by something. But those comments personally offended me. It, Senator
Hey.
Allen tried
Snowflake,
to
snowflake,
Senator Allen
Libtard!
Senator Allen tried to
Please stop.
basically compare our real life situations by saying that I don't understand working just to get as if he's Senator Allen, you know nothing about me. You know nothing about my lived experience, and I don't have
You
to.
don't know nothing about me.
And exactly why I said I'm not criticizing you for your job. I would never compare uh, people's experiences in poverty, because the problem is, and this is out of the Senate fucking chat, the problem with poverty
Yeah,
is
it sucks.
that poverty is that's it. That's the problem. We don't have to compare as people in poverty, that we're in poverty. Both of us are in poverty. We work
True.
just to survive. I've been homeless
True.
before. I work just to get by. I can do. I have just enough free time to do things like activism in real life that somehow I hope affect some level of change in terms of people being in poverty. And I can do this a couple hours a day. Um, what I'm saying is that has nothing to do with this. And trying to use that as an argument for why the Senate shouldn't conduct business is just not a solid, logical, concise argument. It just isn't. Uh, we don't have to compare our experiences. We're both going through a tough time, I'm sure, and I'm not saying you aren't, or that this has that has anything to do with this. It does not. Uh, like I said, when we were debating this, the rule book is now in place. You can read it over and propose an amendment right now if you wanted to, or at any time. At any time. So continuing the discussion and trying to paint me as some power hungry person who's trying to make the Senate my own is just not true. When everything that's contained in that rulebook and the only changes that are in that rulebook make the Senate a more open, individual body in which you have more power as an individual member, in which Cranfield has more power, Williams, Sethi, Nixon has more power, so that the power isn't concentrated into a caucus. It isn't concentrated into um, the president pro
A person.
tempore. It isn't concentrated into
Temporary.
any one person. It's all of us as a body, as the Senate was intended to be. If you disagree with that, if you disagree with any particular rule, as was said before, introduce an amendment and change it. That's how it works. Grandstanding and saying that I'm criticizing you for having a job, or that I'm saying that this is more important than you working to survive, which it 100% is not, and then saying that I haven't had that same lived experience, or I'm not working as hard as you to try and make a political argument in an online sim is gross. It's gross.
Well,
And
that's actually bullshit.
Gross.
that it's not something that we need to be doing here. Um, like I said, and I'll make this point one last time just so you hear it. If you don't like the rules, or if you don't like any particular rule, which you haven't brought up a single sentence that you don't like, you just
But
don't
we'll
like the
fail it,
process.
so tread carefully.
You just don't like the process. So, find a sentence, tell me what you don't like about it, or just say straight up that you don't like when I pass legislation, because that's what it seems like to everyone here. Mr. President, I yield the floor.
Mr.
The
President.
gentleman used for
Powerball.
the gentleman from Michigan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's get some things out the way. Number one, I never called you power hungry. I don't know where you got that. Secondly, I never said that you were trying to make the Senate your own, so you need to get that one checked. Third, I never tried
Mr. President, point of
to
order.
compare you and I to our
What is
personal
the point of
experience
order
here in
presented by the
poverty.
gentleman from New Hampshire?
Is it not true that Senator Allen made the inference that Senator Cranfield and I were trying to, in some way, take over the Senate in his initial speech?
It wasn't an
That
inference.
is false.
He explicitly said it.
I'm asking the chair as the person in record.
Well, in my personal knowledge and um, recollection of what was
Well,
said
defer
by
to the
the
Senate.
gentleman from Michigan. I'm sorry, who said what?
Well, I'm saying, does the Senate clerk know off the top of their head?
Why would you bring in the Senate clerk? You're asking the opinion of the chair.
I'm asking the opinion of those
You're
who are in control of the historical
no,
record.
you are asking the opinion of the chair as
I'm
you've
asking-
requested your point of order.
To address the point of order and the opinion of the
Both.
chair, I have absolutely no idea.
Okay,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. President.
point
I
of
shall
order.
continue.
You have another point of order?
I do.
What is the point of order?
Same point of order directed at Senate Clerk Benjamin Bryant.
Point of order,
What's the
Mr.
question?
President.
What is the point of order?
Can you
No,
just,
Mr.
that's not how that
President,
works.
Mr.
My
President,
God.
Mr. President, I have, Mr. President, I'm asking a point of order. Can the Senate Clerk go back in Senate chats and find this statement? The inference that Senator Cranfield and I are power-hungry members of the United States Senate trying to take it over.
I can.
go ahead and find that statement, apparently.
I mean, it's also probably live streamed and we can look back at it later, but
Yeah, we
continue
can. So, Mr. President, before I got interrupted by that gentlewoman, Mr. President,
That gentlewoman.
you
Please
know,
stop interrupting. You may go ahead.
thank you. The reason why I've expressed disapproval, I'm pretty sure Harry and others too, was the language of the Senate rules is vague. Secondly, it doesn't even address further in details for members who, with all due respect, can't process, understand in that context, this is what we do, this is how we're going to operate, and this is how Senate procedures are. The Senate rules doesn't go further to elaborate stuff like quorum, if the vice president contests that. We have several instances under the Jacob Ainsley vice presidency where whether the VP counted or not, and we've adopted a quote unquote precedent from MEC. So we need to make stuff clear, explicitly clear, not just because we need to leave it vague for interpretations. No, we need to set the rules set in stone, clear. And that's something that this Senate rule did not do. So vague is one of the reasons why I made this bill. Well, the Senate rule book. And I'm pretty sure Harry and others may have other reasons, but I can guarantee you that vague was one of the main points.
Okay,
Now,
Mr.
Mr.
President.
President, no, wait, hold on. Senator
I did not yield. This is my time.
No, I want to go next.
No, hold on.
Mr.
It'll
President,
be quick, I promise.
Mr. President,
The gentleman from Michigan will continue.
thank you. I'm not here trying to lecture anyone on their vote, but my colleagues are. The notion that it's something, it's not going to be perfect, but it's something. I agree. It could be something, but something like this needs to be addressed because this is how we conduct ourselves as senators, how we meet, how we treat each other, how we operate. And to my colleague, the majority whip, trying to compare the instance of myself and Edwin on our actions because his actions name what is considered probably the largest criminal justice as of now, reform that was dedicated to George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And trying to compare that event with me on instance of trying to adopt the Senate rule, that you can't even compare that. Because one bill that we wrote was dedicated for the Black lives that were destroyed, actual lives that were impacted, actual lives that were taken away by lawless police officers kneeling on the neck of a Black African American. The lawless police officer who went under a no-knock warrant and shot a woman when she was sleeping. And try to compare those events to today because you didn't like my vote on the Senate rules, shame on you. And shame on every other senator who's trying to compare me and my actions to Edwin House's nay on a criminal justice reform. You cannot compare both of them because they cannot be compared. So, Mr. President, my vote reflects that the bill or the Senate rulebook that needs to be addressed on its language needs to be detailed and needs to elaborate further on how we operate, not just on interpretations. Because today can be one interpretation and tomorrow it will be another. Today's interpretation will benefit the majority, the next will benefit the minority. The rules need to be set in stone, clear, Mr. President. And for all calling me a hypocrite, go ahead. I could care less. But I casted my vote with good conscience to try to draft, and my motion was to dismiss the bill and work together as a team to draft our own rules in a bipartisan matter. Yet you made that. So you can't come to me or at me trying to say that I haven't reached out to work together to pass this bill. Mind you, this is all happening while I was at work, trying to dedicate time to ensure that we have a Senate rule to agree. So, Mr. President, I hope the Senate reflects itself, takes a time of reflection, and reconsider themselves, and move forward to continue working together on bills, because we need to address crisis. We need to address the events that are currently happening right now. We need to solve the crisis that's happening in our southern borders. We need to continue our foreign diplomatic relations and affairs. We need to continue working with the Cunningham administration. You know, we can sit here all day and debate Senate rules. We can sit here and lecture one another, but we ain't getting nowhere. But the comments made by this gentlewoman from New Hampshire,
Mr. President, point of order.
trying to.
The point of order from the gentleman from New Hampshire.
Is it true that the definition of virtue signaling is the action or practice of publicly expressing opinions or sentiments intended to demonstrate one's good character or the moral correctness of one's position on a particular issue?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Thank you.
And Google's.
Thank you.
The
Anyway,
gentleman from Michigan may proceed.
thank you. Mr. President, you know, I could work with any other senator perfectly fine. I've worked with Mr. Cranfield. I worked with Mr. Williams when he was a Republican. I worked with Ms. Shabin when we were trying to find common ground on Bryant Care to discuss what needs to be addressed. We may have had our differences, but we still work together. But to say that basically I'm partisan, I'm doing this because your name is on that bill, doing this just because, is simply false. I have my opinions on every legislation brought forth. But Mr. President, despite our votes today, and despite Senate rules being passed, we will abide by them. Those are our rules. I may not like the outcome, but those are the rules for now. So, Mr. President, I urge the Senate to come back. Let's continue facing or continue solving the southern border crisis, continue to resolve the events around the world, work together, find solutions how to end poverty or continue on the progression to end poverty, continue or present legislation to invest in infrastructure, help bail out our farmers and middle class families, give the attention to them. I'm going to stop bickering. I'm going to stop talking. I like that part. I like that.
I like that too.
So, Mr. President, I'm reaching out. And tomorrow, hopefully, I don't know if I can tomorrow. I get out at 12 o'clock in the morning, but hopefully beforehand, my office will reach out to the minority leader to discuss infrastructure
I'd be more than happy to.
to continue targeting cities that really need help, invest in our rural communities, and ensure that infrastructure is given to everyone. That should be our priority, along with solving the immigration crisis that we have in our southern border. So, Mr. President, with wholeheartedly, and the amounts of the stress I have in my shoulder taken off,
Oh my.
I yield the remainder of
Mr.
my
President,
Mr. President,
Mr.
Mr.
President,
President,
Mr.
Mr.
President.
My
President.
I said it
God,
first.
the gentleman.
Mr.
No,
President,
no.
I said it
The
first.
gentleman
Mr.
from
President, please
No.
relax.
Kentucky.
Thank you. Thank you. The,
I was
the,
I
the
addressed
said it
by
minority
first,
whip.
Mr.
The
President.
The Senate will
minority
be in
whip.
order. The Senate will
Thank
be in
you.
order. The gentleman from Kentucky.
Thank
Mr.
you.
President,
Thank you.
before the senator
No.
proceeds, I have an answer to the
No.
question
Oh,
that
so
was
he
previously asked.
calls
Yeah.
on the
No.
white
Oh wait,
man.
hold on.
Mr.
He calls.
President, I
That
He
is
believe
in
calls.
order,
that
Mr. President. Point of order. That
He
is in order.
called on the white.
No.
He called on the
That's the
white
answer to
man.
the
The
question.
Senate
No.
will be in order. The Senate will be
No.
in
It's
order.
racism. He
Before
called on the
The
Stop.
white man.
Senate
Stop
will
talking.
be in order.
He called on the white man. It's racist.
Stop talking.
It is. That's so
The
true.
point of order presented by the gentleman from New Hampshire.
I'm just saying the Senate clerk has an answer to the question that I asked.
Oh my God.
Mr. President, point of order.
Can we, for the love of fucking God, get
Before we
past?
get to the point of order of that, what was the question that you presented?
Can you just give me the answer, please? It wasn't even really to attack Kenneth. I genuinely was asking. I just want the answer.
With the leave of the
Did he
chair,
find the statement?
um,
Because you said I've made a
I-
statement about
I-
that.
I cannot find
Oh, you cannot.
We'll be
before
Okay.
looking
the
back
senator-
on
before
it
the
was in
senator-
call.
Oh, from
Can
the
I answer
previous
my
point of order. Okay.
Can I answer? Because I'm not done. I cannot find
President.
where if the senator has not said in the chat that anyone is power hungry. However, he did make a statement saying that changing the
Where?
rules was unethical. He implied it.
Okay.
Mr.
But-
President, point of personal privilege.
But I do recall personally.
Mr.
No, you
President,
don't.
point of
in the
personal
st-
privilege.
Point of order.
The Senate clerk will finish.
I
Mr.
do
President,
recall-
point
okay.
of personal privilege as a leader on the floor.
Alright. I guess I'm.
Is the Senate clerk done?
No, but
It doesn't matter if the Senate
he
clerk
has
It
stops.
doesn't.
consent.
The gentleman from Kentucky.
Thank you. And I would like for my colleagues to know the next time that I'm about to talk, a point of personal privilege will be used again. Because when I want to talk, I will do such.
Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Shut up, Mr. Vice President. I'm not done.
Excuse you?
So now that the political ethos and the rhetorical ethos is out of
No.
the way.
You will yield.
Oh, okay. What do you got to say?
Mr. President.
You're
point of
done.
order.
Mr. President, recognize me.
The
Oh, I'm done.
the gentlewoman from you're done. The
Oh, is that so?
gentlewoman
I'm
from
Mr. President, I just really have one.
what did the gentleman
I have
The
my
gentleman-
point of order needs to be heard.
the gentleman from Michigan, what is your point of order?
Point of personal privilege.
Mr. President, isn't it the entitlement that the majority leader, minority leaders have recognition first among anyone due to their positions representing the party, their respective party? And isn't the minority leader entitled to be recognized before any other senators who are seeking recognition as he is representing the minority party in this chamber?
To the best of my knowledge, when no one has the floor and senators are seeking recognition, and if the majority leader does seek recognition, it doesn't matter if they were the first person or last person, it is to the interest of the chair to call on the majority leader first.
Mr. President.
Yes,
Point of order.
but if the minority
Point of
leader
order,
is
Mr. President.
seeking trying to seek recognition, doesn't he get recognition as well as a first
Yeah,
priority?
the answer is yes.
I have an answer to this question,
not
though.
seeking recognition.
Mr.
Again, I'm asking for the opinion of the chair with my point of order, so please hold.
He just
Repeat the
gave you
question.
the opinion of the chair.
Because
If-
people
if
are
the
interrupting.
I
majority
really
leader-
hope the American people are watching
if
this
the
right now.
majority leader doesn't seek recognition, but yet the minority leader is trying to seek recognition with a few other senators, doesn't the minority leader have the entitlement, as he represents the minority, to be recognized first before any other senator in this chamber?
The chair may,
Mr. President,
the
point of
chair
order.
may have. I will answer this question first. The chair has the sole power to recognize the minority leader.
Mr. President, point of order.
What is the point of order presented by the gentlewoman?
First of all, Senator Cranfield should speak after this, but just for future reference.
Point of personal privilege.
Just for future reference, Section 8, deliberations and sessions.
Point of personal privilege as a leader on the
Section E
floor.
of that session says time on the floor is at the discretion of the chair.
Again, Mr. President,
Mr. President.
if I may, doesn't my
Senator
point of
Point
order
of
or
point
the
of order.
opinion
Senator
of your
Cranfield
point of
has the floor.
order supersedes the Senate rules to recognize the minority leader
Point of
first?
order. Senator Cranfield has the floor.
Y'all making my mind go bonkers.
I'll bring some mocha, some coffee from Starbucks. I'm gonna get
Please do.
the dress. What do you want? Send me the link.
Anything.
I'll get you a lemon bar from the local bakery.
We'll be
Are
having
y'all
a
done?
party tonight.
Are y'all done with the point of orders?
For this motion.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Senator Cranfield
The
has the floor.
Senate minority. I'm getting to that. The Senate minority leader will have the floor, but just for future reference, do not ever address me the way that you did.
Terrified, honestly shivering, shaking,
In my boots.
trembling, all of it. All of it's happening right now. I'm frightened.
Just shoot.
As a former vice president, I feel your pain. Nonetheless, said it anyway. Don't regret it. Anyway, and I will have you know, Mr. Vice President, you will respect your elders and your former pathway people.
No,
Well, yes.
you are sadly mistaken. You may proceed.
If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be in the position you have right now, Mr. Vice President.
Not completely
you.
true.
That's completely true.
That's coming from the Senate minority leader that tried to launch a presidential campaign. You may proceed.
Oh,
That's a presidential campaign that was going to vote split so much that you would not be the current sitting vice
A
president.
presidential campaign that was failed
actually-
by
Oh,
an
so
independent
Point of order.
candidate.
I don't think that the chair
The-
should be engaging in a
Hold on.
debate with members of the
Hold
United
on.
States Senate.
No. There's a difference between. There's a complete difference.
You're debating with a
Excuse me?
senator right now. Stop
See,
it.
whenever I offend him, there's a difference because I got under his skin, so now he wants to
Hold
argue
on.
and bicker.
Both of you stop it.
Oh, you didn't get under my skin.
Hold on.
Oh, clearly I
Hold
did.
on.
Is there a point of order?
Once again,
Point of personal privilege.
I
Both-
hope
point of
the
personal
American
privilege.
people are watching this.
Both of you
Gentleman
stop
from
it.
New Hampshire.
Both of you stop it. Mr. President, Mr. President, you are arguing with a member of the Senate. Mr. President, you are arguing with a member of the Senate. Please stop. Senator Cranfield is a floor. He can say
From the
whatever he wants. That's just how it works. If you don't like his personal opinion of you, you can't shut him down because of that. I yield the floor.
So he can say whatever he wants. Can he curse on the Senate floor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yes,
President.
he can actually.
There is a complete difference between the gentleman from Michigan.
Mr. President, I disagree with the gentlewoman from New Hampshire. The reason is we play by the rule. If your name gets invoked, you have the right to respond. You know, Mr. President, I believe you're within the right to respond to comments that the or a member of the Senate has directly stated towards you. The comments are towards you.
Mr.
So,
President.
Mr. President,
They weren't toward him. They were just about.
I disagree
Love
with the gentlewoman from New Hampshire, and I
New
again
Hampshire.
trying to ensure the minority leader has the speaking time as he was trying to speak before the minority whip was interrupting
The
him.
minority whip.
And Mr. President, by the way, I don't believe that the
I guess he's not the
minority
minority
whip is. Mr. President, I believe that the minority whip is not entitled to privileges like the minority
Every
leader.
senator has
Where,
every senator can make a
excuse
point of
me,
personal privilege.
excuse me, you sit down. Thank you, Mr. President. I believe the only people that can invoke such privilege are the minority leader and majority leader, as we represent the caucus that we have. So, Mr. President, I would further address that the majority whip and minority whip, not to try to proclaim themselves of having special privileges to be recognized first, as the only people here in this chamber that can have such privilege and enjoy such privilege of being recognized first before anyone is the minority leader and majority leader. With that, I yield the remainder of my time to the minority leader.
Mr. President, point of order.
Oh my
Was there a point of order?
There is.
What is the point of order?
god.
All I did was invoke a point of personal privilege to stop
Hmm.
a debate between Vice President Underwood and Senator Cranfield, and Senator Allen
It was
objected. Every senator has the ability to make a point of personal privilege. That's not the word privilege does not mean extra powers. It's just a point of personal privilege to discuss something with the chair very briefly, which is what I did. Completely legal. I yield to Senator Cranfield.
Mr. Point of order, Mr. President. Did the gentlewoman actually state a point of order?
Mr. President, point of order. I invoked a point of personal privilege, and that
No, you
is
did not.
the
Mr. President,
Let's
I
go,
believe.
Mr. President.
I haven't
I
spoken
asked,
yet.
Mr. President, while Senator Cranfield is
Please yield
spoken,
time
Mr. President,
to the
while Senator
minority
Cranfield
leader.
is
He is
speaking,
trying
I
to
ask that the
speak.
Senate
the
clerk.
gentleman
I asked that
the gentleman
I asked that the
from
Senate clerk.
Michigan will finish his point of order.
Motion to adjourn.
I asked that the Senate clerk
Oh,
go back in the record and find my point of personal privilege.
Mr.
from 5 minutes
President,
ago.
point of order.
What is the point of order?
Mr. President, isn't it within the rights of the minority leader to be heard while he is addressing the Senate?
Clearly not.
To this my
If
knowledge,
so,
yes.
Mr. President, if so, Mr. President, may you please tell all senators to keep quiet so we can listen to the honorable minority leader of the Republican Party,
Okay, yeah, we get
Senator
it.
Trey Cranfield, Republican from the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
The Senate Minority Leader.
Thank you. All right. I've done lost my train of thought, frankly, because I had an entire thing figured out, but then I had to bicker with my own caucus, my own duo in the caucus, and then I had to argue with the vice president, who has a very short temper when it comes to his standing as vice president. He's got a bit of a
First of all,
bit of a quick trip there. It's okay, Mr. Vice President. I understand. We all feel impassioned when it comes to our position within certain branches of the government, and the executive branch does come with its what's the word? It starts with E and ends with go. Nonetheless, it. I feel bad because the majority leader helped me, and I was going to attack him whenever I was going to first start talking, but now I can't because he helped me, so I can't even say anything bad now. That's how it works. That's the sad part about it. He really put me in a corner there. But so this session started at about 9:15, and it's now 10:45, and we have done a total of one thing. And that was pass a new Senate rulebook, which is fantastic. I think that was due for a long time. But there was one thing that stood out to me from earlier's debate period regarding interpretation of standing documents within the Senate. The entire government of the United States of America is because of interpretation. Just so we're clear, the entire government of the United States of America is because of interpretation. The founding fathers interpreted and envisioned a government the way that it is ran today. The United States Senate is a sub branch of that vision, that idea. And interpreting documents is the entire point of see, I'm getting PM, so I'm distracted. Stop distracting me. Good grief. Everyone likes to, huh?
Said apologies.
Yes, thank you. Everyone likes to see, now I lost my train of thought again. This is what happens when people are distracting. Shameful.
Mr. President,
Mr.
point of order.
Oh,
What is the point of order?
Mr. President, isn't it? I feel sorry for the minority leader, but
I feel sorry for me too.
can the minority leader present in question? Well, the Senate itself is in question regarding if the capacity of the minority leader is all right, because he's losing his train of thought, and we are seriously worried if he has Alzheimer's. Mr. President,
What is it?
But you're not worried about Joe Biden, though. So what's that about?
What happened? What did I do?
I am. Mr. President, I asked that the minority leader take his medication before he
No, what did I
continues
do?
talking.
What did I
Mr.
say?
President, I
Because
asked that regular
What did I
order
do?
be
he's
restored.
lost train of thought 3 times,
Mr.
and it's
President, I asked it
worrying
for
me
regular order.
and members of this caucus.
What did I say?
I asked,
The-
I asked for regular order.
The Cinnamon, you asked for a point of order?
No,
regular
why
order
do I have
back to the-
dementia? What did I say?
I was giving the floor back to the Senate Minority Leader. You may proceed.
Thank you. I'm lost. I don't know what just happened. What did I do?
An example.
No. I don't know what I did.
No,
What did
Trey,
I
he
do?
was just making a
Mr.
joke and you
President,
didn't.
if I
He was just
may.
making a joke and you missed it. That's all it was. That's all it was.
I definitely missed it. What joke? What did I say? Did I stutter again?
He was just saying that you had Alzheimer's. That's all it was.
Why? What did I say?
Because you were losing your train of thought.
Okay.
You were
Oh,
going,
yeah.
You were going.
Well, that's because I'm being distracted.
I'm losing my train.
That's
And he went. You have Alzheimer's. That's what happened. Please
That's
continue.
because everyone's PMing me and then point of ordering over me, so I can't fucking finish a thesis because everyone's like, point of order, recognize me, look at your PMs.
But I'm
stand
serious. I better be.
We do love that.
I better be getting a Walmart gift card at the end of this session.
You know, for Christmas I got my 25% discount, so I haven't used it yet. Anyway.
Folks, this is for the Senate pool. This is not for the Senate chambers.
The Senate Minority Leader.
Yes, thank you. Well, for the fourth and unprecedented time, I've once again lost my train of thought. Just so we're clear.
Mr. President,
I don't know what the hell's going
Mr.
on
President,
right now.
can I have time, please? I have a perfectly fine train of thought that has substance.
Well,
to it.
my train of thought restores as I go along. I just have to
The
pick the right words.
I'm sure you'll get the train of thought as I'm speaking, sir.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
No, you will.
Oh, I'm good. All right.
Just to be clear, that
So
was
anyway-
a whisper conversation between us.
Oh yes, we passed no.
The Senate Minority Leader.
In 6th grade. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyway, like I was saying, not really, but now I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna say it now. No, what? I did. No, so I appreciate the majority leader's request after the session to talk about important issues such as infrastructure and something else I don't remember. But
Immigration.
no. These are, I'm being spammed again. I actually had cheesecake earlier, 2 pieces, and it was a lot of calories in that cheesecake. Nonetheless,
I temporarily abdicate.
Fat bit. Is the Senate still in session?
yes.
What in
Yes,
the
it doesn't
hell?
even seem like it, but yeah.
Okay, excuse
The
me.
Senate
sorry.
Minority Leader.
So, yeah, I've got nothing. There's really nothing for me to
Mr.
say.
President?
No, I appreciate I appreciate the majority leader's request to talk about these important issues. And after the session is over, I would like to begin important deliberations regarding these policies that need to be passed. And I'm not really sure where the president is. I haven't seen the president in a long time. I don't really know what
MIA,
happened to
yeah.
her. I hope she's okay. I mean, I haven't heard anything from her. I think the last time she talked to me was regarding the North Korean issue, I think a couple days ago. But other than that, I've not heard anything from the president, and it's kind of concerning me. So I do extend an arm and say to the vice president, maybe we can get the president to show up. I don't really know where she's at. Hopefully she's okay. I send my best wishes to the president of the United States. I'm sure she's got her
Mr.
own
President,
issues.
Mr. President.
I'm sure
No.
she's got her
President
own.
is-
No, Mr. President.
I'm sure she's got her own issues to worry about. But I hope she works through those and she gets back in an ample manner. With that being said, there are multiple issues that this body needs to be taking into account, and the fact that we passed the new Senate rulebook, which is it's good, it's comprehensive progress in order to ensure that, like what I was talking about earlier today's session, that the effectiveness and the efficiency of this body is of utmost importance. And I believe that it's possible for us to achieve that if we move forward and put these issues behind us. We spent over an hour of back and forth, and that is just wasting a lot of crucial time. And that can't happen every single session that we're in, because we're going to see these sessions go 2-3 hours of us going back and forth with each other on things that aren't really relevant to the discussion at hand. And we get to the point where we don't know what we're talking about, and we don't know what's happening. And you get like me, and you have a really small mind, and you don't know what the hell is going on, and you're kind of wondering why people are talking, and why you're having like flashbacks to some time a long time ago. But nonetheless, let's see, there's a message from the vice president here in the chat. What is the Senate Majority Leader will take place of the chair until I come back from a family emergency. Well.
The gentleman will suspend.
Oh! Well.
The gentleman will suspend.
Oh!
As the vice president is within the leaves of absence for a family emergency, which will only take up to 3 minutes, we would hope that everything, 1, is okay, 2, that he would return as quick as possible. Now, to the minority leader, you have 1 minute.
Why?
You have 1 minute because the senator is awaiting time to speak.
But the minority leader gets...
Kidding. The minority leader.
Okay. No, I was wrapping it up anyway. I was getting close to finishing my point, which, I mean, I didn't really have much of a point, but because you guys kind of talked over what I was going to say. But moving forward, the issues of infrastructure and housing, which is an important one, we found that out in the housing package that was introduced before the Senate yesterday, but was voted down because of its plagiarism, its plagiarist contents. And that's just another thing we have to work to avoid. And like I was saying earlier, I will call that out every single time I see it, because we need to be writing bills that have been made by our own words, so we can debate the merits of the bill, whether or not it's suitable for passing. That we'll make that call. But the bills need to be written with our own merits and strategies as active members in the community. When we're allocating money to things that don't exist, and when we're talking about programs that don't even have relevance to the community, there's no sense in producing these pieces of legislation. And I'm hoping that everyone takes that into account and uses that knowledge for future reference. With that being said, after this is over, I'd like to discuss with the majority leader a lot of topics, including housing, including infrastructure, including economic prosperity, which is what we're looking for under the Cunningham administration. It was one of her main talking points. Healthcare reform. It's important. It's important that we pinpoint important policies that work toward reforming the healthcare policy. and improving on what we saw under the Bryan administration. We were fortunate enough to have passed multiple pieces of legislation and worked with Congress to help improve the healthcare system in America under the last administration. Hopefully, we can build on that progress under the current administration. So with that being said, yes, there is a lot that can be done. There is a lot that we can work on, and I'm looking forward to doing that with this Congress. We just have to put the pettiness aside. The rules are going to be the rules, the majority is going to be the majority, and the minority is going to be the minority. And that's just how it's going to have to be. I yield to whoever's chair, and I thank you for the time.
Thank
Mr.
you.
President.
Thank you, Minority Leader. The gentleman will suspend. I would like to remind all senators that Little Caesars called in and there was pizza for everyone in the cloakroom. I would like to remind all senators that the vice president is back and he will be, he will presume his duties as the presiding officer.
Pizza!
Mr. President,
What kind of
The
pizza?
gentlewoman from New Hampshire.
first of all, let me just say, I have to
Point
disagree.
of order. Point of order.
What is the point of order?
Mr. Vice President, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
My mental state, no, but
I just thought it was important to ask.
DSG just brought in some tacos, but yeah, thank you, Trey Cranfield, for buying Little Caesars.
Sure. My pleasure.
I mean, I was going to disagree with Senator Allen for
Yeah.
buying Little Caesars, but I guess I have to disagree with my own caucus for doing that. I didn't know that haven't read the chats yet, so I whoever bought Little Caesars.
I'm not fortunate to have money. I'm sorry, I don't
Yeah,
make
neither
enough
am
money.
Luckily I have good relationships.
I share that sentiment.
Luckily, I have good
I
relationships
can only
with
bring
one of the
some
four.
ramen noodle soup.
Luckily, I have good relationships with one of the 4 pizza places in my town, so I'll be bringing some local New Hampshire pizza so we can be promoting some small business.
Imagine-
It's really
Leave that
good.
there.
It's really good.
You can leave that there.
No, it's really good. It's really good.
First of all, as Massachusetts is much more better, and as a senior senator, I'll be bringing some from Massachusetts instead.
Massachusetts
Much more
is
better.
gross. First of all, let me just finish
Much
this
more
up.
better.
Let me just finish this up. I great respect. I mean, for everyone in
For
this
pizza?
room. For everyone in
Oh,
this room.
true.
All of us, this is proving to me the strength of this body.
See, guys, we're friends.
Despite us, Senator Allen in particular and I having some very passionate disagreements about the rules tonight, we're gonna go into the Senate cloakroom. We're gonna discuss infrastructure, which I think we'll have largely
And have pizza.
a lot of agreements on, and
Watch a lot of adult films and drink a lot of
we'll
alcohol.
have pizza, and
Quite literally.
we'll do
And
the
tacos.
things. And this is proving
True.
to the American people that bipartisanship can get done, and this is how the Senate should run. Basically, this is how the Senate should run. I get Senator Cranfield's point about us spending a lot of time on it, but it was a passionate issue. It's an important issue, as Senator Allen said before in his impassioned speech. It's the rules. It's how we conduct ourselves, and I think we did a good job tonight. Is basically what I'm saying, despite it being a little bit partisan on both sides.
I look forward to kissing and making up afterwards.
I look
Wink, wink.
forward to all the.
Ow.
I look forward to all the kiss. I look forward to all the kiss.
Mr. President.
But
You can even have one of the lips. Kennedy.
I'm just saying, before, I'm gonna sort of reiterate a point I made in closing in last session, last afternoon, this afternoon. Interpretation is essentially the law. If you take any sort of law class, if you study the law in any way, you'd know that that's the entire profession of being a lawyer. That's the entire profession of being a politician. It's interpreting essentially the Constitution and amendments, therefore, to construct a society. And what we've done here with the rules is set in stone the basic Constitution, and synonym for foundation, the basic Constitution for a Senate, which we can therefore interpret the rules of. which you as the majority leader can, which the president of the Senate, which I as a member of the Senate can, which Senator Williams can, therefore. That is the most democratic, the most open, and the only way to ensure that everyone's voice is heard in the process and that it's not a backroom deal, and that it's happening here on these now live stream calls in which the American people can hear it, and all of us, or majority of senators who have attended the session, can hear it. Um, Other than that, you know, trying to set in stone, as I said, the point which I made to Senator Bennett, and I hope that Senator Bennett would stick to his commitment that he made earlier today, about supporting essentially the opinion, generally the opinion that I had on the interpretation of the law. Um, I would hope that he sticks to his commitment on that. But what I had uh, brought forth to him was that the interpretation is what makes it run efficiently. When we have things set in stone, and even left-wing activists will tell you this, the Black Lives Matter people, when you have things set in stone, it oppresses people, whether that be the minority in the Senate, whether that be an individual member trying to get something done, or whether, or speaking in the instance of not just Senate rules, but the law at large. It's oppressive towards minority communities, and so on and so forth. The interpretation and empowering people to understand the law, and that it is an interpretation, is what makes it uh, an efficient and effective system. So it makes it an open and free society. And trying to set something in stone like that will bring us into an age in which uh, much more oppression is occurring, and even doing it on something as small as the Senate rulebook, uh, small, relatively small, the Senate rulebook, um, that will lead to unintended consequences. I'm not saying Senator Allen wants this to be the case. It might sound like I'm saying that, but I'm definitely not. I'm just trying to, as I made the point to Senator Bennett, I'm just trying to make the plea to sort of help you come to the mutual understanding that the law, the rule book, government, the society, is us coming together to interpret where we move where we move forward. And it's happened before when Senator Allen and I don't discuss things in private beforehand, or don't come to a mutual understanding beforehand, and then we come into a public forum like this. It can get contentious and we can get passionate. But I think this again was just a misunderstanding, and I think that Senator Allen would totally agree uh, with the fact that we need to keep the Senate rulebook uh, how it is, and keep parliamentary procedure how it is, and not try to shift a system that's been working in governments, not just here, but across the world for thousands and thousands of years. Um, Parliamentary procedure is something I live and die by, and I will, as I said earlier today, die protecting the strength and the integrity of that system. And I know Senator Allen agrees with me because he has employed some of the tactics used by those masterful tacticians and masterful strategists, those people who have used parliamentary procedure to get amazing things done. And I urge everyone here to read the books of Senator Reid and other Senator Ted Kennedy, and all these other lines of the Senate who really used parliamentary procedure and the rules of the Senate, to advance their own agenda, whether that be good or bad, but to get something done. That's the inspiration I bring forth here, and I know Senator Allen also takes inspiration from those people. So, in closing, um, we'll have passionate debates again. This is just the beginning of the session, but through those passionate debates, it's important for us to have the mutual understanding and recognize that we have different worldviews, we have different perspectives, but that we're all well-intentioned people who are just trying to get something done for the American people, and that's that basic foundation will allow us to have more civil debates, and we won't be, misinterpreting someone's sentence as power hungry, or so on and so forth. It'll lead to a mutual understanding between both parties and both sides of an issue. Um, that being said, also we should continue to do. I think it's a great idea that we're going into a private call as the Senate and doing something like that. I think we should do more like that. I think it'll help us come together as a body, because the fact of the matter is, it's not us versus each other. It's us versus the House of Representatives, and we all know that to be the fact. As Senator Cranfield brought up before.
Huh?
I see Representative Jamal up in the house. As Senator Cranfield brought up before, and as I've stated, well, as Senator Cranfield brought up before, they had passed something like the housing bill, which contained in it totally illegal and unconstitutional provisions that did not would not be sound, and would never stand up in a court of law, and provided $10.7 billion to programs that didn't exist. That was passed by the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives doesn't even do calls like this. It doesn't
Yeah, it
even.
was passed unanimously, by the way.
It was passed
Whores in this
unanimously.
house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this
Passed
house. There's some
unanimously.
whores in this house.
And that's just not what we have to be doing right now. We have to come together.
Kagan.
We have to come together and totally.
There he goes. He said,
Well, I know. No, I'm having the memory issues. It's okay. I've got my train of thought again. It was passed unanimously by the House. The House didn't even take the time to deliberate on the matter.
You know, make fun of me for it.
It didn't even take the time to deliberate on the matter. We came together, despite not having all of us here, we at least had a majority of members here, and we voted on the legislation, we debated the legislation, and people's minds were changed as a result of deliberation. Senator Williams and Senator Sethi voted present
Changed their life, frankly.
instead of voting in favor of this legislation. It would have passed had I not been there, had Senator Cranfield not been there. It would have passed and been signed by the president who had written this legislation, which was totally inept and funded programs that didn't exist. This is ineffective government, and what the Senate has to be, and what we have to hope to be, and what our goal should be, is the body that stops legislation from like that from coming through the legislative the branch. It's to stop legislation copied and pasted from coming to the legislative branch, and write legislation ourselves, because I know each of us are intelligent enough to do it. Write legislation ourselves that is the smart legislation, in which the House will vote for, because the House only does such a thing and passes a bill unanimously because they want to say, each of them wants to say that they've put their name on a housing accomplishment bill for their next campaign, instead of actually looking at the substance of the bill. That's what's been happening with bills across the board, and we got to change that. We got to change that right now. And the United States Senate has the unique opportunity to be able to do that, and I hope we do. And I know we will. Which reminds me of the original point I was going to make before Senator Cranfield PM'd me and said he was going to take the floor before me. But Senator Allen made a point about the interpretation law and why we shouldn't have it, saying that some members wouldn't be able to understand it. And I'm not. This isn't really about Senator Allen. I'm just. This point's been made before and by Senator Bennett, and I addressed it earlier, so I'll just address it again. The point was that sorry, I'm getting PMs. I see it. I see your problem, Trey. But the point was that some members wouldn't be able to understand it if it was left up to interpretation. But that's why we have a chair. That's why chairs are supposed to understand it. That's why we have members such as myself, or you, Senator Allen, or Senator Williams, or Senator Cranfield, who understand parliamentary procedure and able to employ such parliamentary motions such as points of personal privilege or points of order to stop someone like the motions of Senator House, which is really the example of we're all going off of beforehand. That should have been stopped by a point of order, and the chair should have shut that down immediately. Uh, you know, stuff like that is why we employ those methods, and putting that in stone won't stop members who are ignorant to the rules from doing such thing. Um, it's up to members to use and employ parliamentary procedure and the chair to do such a thing to stop that from happening in the future. That being said, we're all friendly here. The rules have passed. Like I said before, amend it all you want, or try to amend it all you want. I'm completely open to debate, and I look forward to discussing infrastructure, housing, and immigration, and a number of issues in which I know we'll be able to find some bipartisan consensus on, at least in this body. And that'll bring us to the House versus Senate fights, or the legislative body versus the executive body, which is really when the Senate gets fun, and that's um, what we should all be shooting for. That being said, I yield the floor, Mr.
The
President.
gentleman will
I
suspend
yield
the
the floor.
gentleman from Massachusetts.
Thank fucking God.
Mr. President.
The gentleman from Massachusetts.
We have had a really not so productive conversation. Hopefully, we can do better with terms of productivity and actual bills being proposed. With that, I motion to adjourn this session and reconvene tomorrow evening
Second.
at 9:15 p.m.
There is
Oh,
a sufficient
objection.
second.
Objection, Mr. President.
Why?
It's a reasonable objection.
It's like your only job to object.
Mr. President.
The gentlewoman from New Hampshire.
Senator Nixon, Sethi, and Williams have both expressed that 9:15 doesn't really work well for them. I'm just
Well, then we'll
I
change the
motion
time
that
to
we do it. I motion that
approximately
It's the only thing that
7.
works for me, though.
All senators will suspend the gentlewoman from New Hampshire.
Can we just? I'm just motioning to do it an hour earlier. That seems to work.
How about I motion to have a at a time to be determined.
Just do 8:45.
Okay, fair.
So they can they should at least be able to show up for.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I get it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, shut up. I motion. I motion to adjourn and reconvene tomorrow at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On March 29th, 2000, the year of our Lord 2021. 2021 being spelled 2021. March being spelled
for God's sakes.
MARCH.
Is there a sufficient second?
Second.
Point of order. How
There
is Lord
is a
spelled?
sufficient second. The Senate clerk will call the roll.
Did someone ask how to Lord is
Senator Allen.
Aye.
What exactly
Senator Allen, aye. Senator Cranfield.
Ah!
Senator Cranfield, aye. Senator Shabin.
As I will always do in closing Senate business, because we should never close the Senate business. Nay.
Senator Shabin, nay. Senator Williams.
Aye. Yes.
Senator Williams, aye. Mr. Chairman, the ayes being 3, the nays being 1, not voting being none of present senators with the business quorum. The ayes.
Full quorum.
There we go. With the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the Senate
Say
No
shall
gavel
be
opinion.
gavel.
adjourned.
Say gavel gavel.
Gavel,
right
gavel.
now.
No, I will not copy
Loser!
Fuck you. This is why I'm gonna switch over to
that.
Fair.
All right, let's go to
In
this.
the opinion of the
Ben,
chair, the
Ben.
Senate.